Hello everyone, this is Yours Trivia, and today we're going to talk about one of Grand Cathay's faction-unique mechanic in the Wu-Xing compass. And although I haven't been doing much of Warhammer 3 coverage, things should start to heat up, as I will finally gain access to the actual game sometime in January. Now we are doing this video here on the Wu-Xing compass, mainly because someone asked about it roughly a week ago during the campaign map review, so I thought it would be a nice idea to do a bit of a game mechanic and lore crossover video to discuss not only how the Wu-Xing compass works in the game, but also talk about the real-world inspiration behind this Wu-Xing compass. So starting off with the game lore, the Wu-Xing compass is this great magical device built into the holy city of Wu-Xing, and it's created by the Celestial Dragon Emperor himself to control the winds of magic within the land of Grand Cathay. And its primary function is to help defend the Great Bastion when it is under threat, but it can also be directed elsewhere when needed. In terms of gameplay, you can see here that the Wu-Xing compass can be pointed in 4 different directions, namely the Great Bastion, the Warpstone Desert, the Celestial Lake, and the Dragon Emperor's Wrath. And aside from the Warpstone Desert, each direction here contain both a passive and active bonus, as well as a resource bar called the Energy Reserve, that determines the strength of the passive bonuses. So how it would work in the game is that you would choose a direction for your compass. Say that you pick the Great Bastion. Then you will gain the active bonus of +1 local recruitment capacity for all Cathay factions, and all armies will gain a new army ability called the Celestial Intervention, which I believe is a spell that summons a meteor shower to damage enemy units. But aside from these active bonuses, the Energy Reserve at the top will start to accumulate, and the passive bonus of the extra defensive supplies and replenishment rate will also go up depending on which tier of the resource bar you're currently at. Then should you change the direction on your Wu-Xing compass, the active bonus would go offline right away and be replaced by the new active bonus of the new direction. But the passive bonuses will remain as long as the decaying energy reserve is not yet depleted. Now looking at these bonuses for the other directions, we have a corruption reduction bonus and a wind of magic debuff for the Warpstone Desert. The Celestial Lake gives a passive bonus of growth and active bonuses of 5% income from all buildings and a 40% buff to the winds of magic. Then finally, for the Dragon Emperor's Wrath, we have a passive control bonus and an active bonus that only activates when the energy reserve is full. But it seems to suggest that all armies beyond the Great Bastion will take this extreme attrition, which I assume is going to be applied to both allied armies and enemy armies in that area, as a trade-off to reinforce the defensive nature of Grand Cathay, and to force you to change directions once the energy reserve is filled for this direction. But of course, all these bonuses can change or be adjusted by the time the game launches, as these screenshots are still from a development in progress. But now that we have gone over the in-game version of the Wu-Xing compass, let's spend some time to look at the real-world inspiration behind the game, as the Wu-Xing compass is very much a real thing. So the first thing we do need to do is remove the Wu-Xing terminology here, because I think it has become too much of a generic Chinese concept thrown in front of things just to make it sound a bit more Chinese. And for those who are not familiar with this term, it is the Chinese philosophical concept of the 5 elements, or the 5 phases. It is often used to explain a wide array of phenomenons, ranging from harmony between your bodily organs to promote good health, to the passing of dynasties in Chinese history, to finding the perfect balance in feng shui for your house or even your tomb. And speaking of feng shui, which literally translate into the wind and the water, we have the true inspiration behind the Wu-Xing compass in something called the Luopan, or the feng shui compass, shown here. Now, the feng shui compass is a divination tool, mainly used to calculate whether the layout of your house, your room, or even your tomb follow the natural harmonies, which will in turn bring you and your descendants good fortune. It is a tool created around the Jin dynasty, when Taoist diviners combined the physical compass with their concept of BAGUA, or the 8 trigrams, as well as the Ganzhi cycle, which is this base 60 cycle, that is used for traditional Chinese calendars, and it is made up of a combination of what is called the 10 heavenly stems, which originates from the 10-day Shang dynasty week, and the 12 earthly branches, which correlates to Jupiter's orbit around the sun. Now, I know this is a lot of concept to take in at once, but just know that the feng shui compass was developed around 1,800 years ago as a tool that combines the physical magnetic compass and a lot of Taoist divination and astrological principles to create this tool that can help you divine whether the location of your home or tomb follow natural harmonies. Then throughout the centuries that followed, this school of divination grew and evolved and became more complex as more concepts were added to this compass in the form of more concentric circles, and by the Tang dynasty, even the 5 phases or Wu-Xing was also incorporated into this ever-growing compass, and by modern times, the standard feng shui compass has at least 18 tiers or concentric circles as the one shown here, with some more advanced versions going up to 25 different layers. But at the end of the day, the compass is a flat instrument and not spherical like the one shown in game, and it doesn't have dragons adorning it. But to be fair, from what we see with the miniature version on the Wu-Xing War Compass unit, the inside of this decoration actually do have a circular flat compass. So I still think the design is correct. It's just the decorative part is rather a combination of the Chinese seismometer, which was invented during the Han Dynasty to record earthquakes with the dragon heads dropping a ball at the direction where the earthquake occurred, and the Western armorial sphere or the astrolabe being shown here. But it's actually quite a cool concept in game, as this instrument that can harness the winds of magic is based on a real-world instrument that measures feng shui, or the wind and the water, for a Chinese geological divination. And the only thing I hope the developer might consider changing before launch is this background image, the artwork of the dragon and the phoenix being shown here. Not only is this artwork a bit cliche, it also is only associated with marriages, as far as I know, and it has really nothing to do with the Wu-Xing compass itself. Adding a simple 8 trigram along with the yin-yang taiji theme in the middle would fit this much better, both with the real-world version of the compass, as well as the yin-yang concept of harmony that is being used among other Grand Cathay mechanics. So hopefully y'all enjoy this little game mechanic and lore crossover video. As I mentioned earlier, expect a lot more Warhammer 3 coverage here on the channel when January rolls around. But until then, bye!